Jim Cramer issues a weird warning, thus it's the end, folks. This time, will he be right or wrong? The most important warning of all is given by gold, silver, and other precious metals in today's movie, but no one is listening. However, we have to, since Jim Cramer's fall is unquestionably close by. Congratulations on your outstanding and significant book. Alright, hence, New York Times best-selling author Andrew Ross's 1929 book, Too Big to Fail, delves at the biggest Wall Street crash ever and how it rocked the country. Whoa, that's right. Actually, I haven't read this book, but just have a look at the cover. Have any of you noticed anything? Correct, 1929 was undoubtedly at the start of the Great Depression when everything actually fell apart. Event X is approaching. However, if you look at that, guys, that's really fantastic, isn't it? The markets were simply dying at the time. Well, however, it's too large to fail, isn't it? Everyone thinks that until it actually turns into a black zone incident. Jim Cramer is a contraindicator, isn't that correct? Here, we can't simply shift course. I take it that he's referring to 1929 here. The Golden Age would be the antithesis of that, wouldn't it? Since he's discussing the Great Depression here, but the Golden Age is its opposite. Is it what's coming up, or will he be right this time? There's a 10% chance that he's accurate, but 90% of the time, he is in error. 9 times out of 10. Alright, so what are we thinking about? Many commenters claim that 1929 is being cancelled immediately again, which makes perfect sense in my opinion because they believe they will pump up these markets to insane extremes before the collapse even starts. To attract as many people as possible, similar to how individuals were seduced by altcoin leverage trading the other day and were all wiped out in a single day. That is likely to happen to every market in every economy prior to the actual collapse. Therefore, unless he is correct that there is a 10% possibility that this will happen right now, there may be a delay. Yes, but the reason he's tweeting about 1929 here is really intriguing. But I'm afraid of this. Yes, we have been warned about this, which is why I find it frightening. Yes, it's XRP, silver, and gold. Don't forget that gold futures broke above $4,200 an ounce for the first time ever. Now gold has increased by about 60% in 2025 alone. We'll question why gold was so inexpensive one day and decide whether to acquire assets or fall behind. Precious metals more specifically. This is gold, folks. It's literally going into overdrive. Cryptocurrencies were supposed to be the target of this precise action. However, that's not the case. It's occurring with gold, isn't it? Well, this is weird, isn't it? Let me show you guys something, have a look at this. Gold was consolidated for decades, as you can see from this consolidation, but suddenly it started to rise around February 2024, which is almost a year and a half ago. It had barely begun to climb wildly. Why is that the case then? If the front runs news, gold acts as a kind of flare for the entire system. I can now see why it's rising so sharply. Correct. Since it doesn't happen by magic, there must be a reason for this. Correct. According to the executives of the largest American bank, Jamie Dimon and Gold Telegraph, gold could easily reach $5,000 to $10,000 under such conditions. Whoa, Jamie Dimon. Alright, folks, these individuals are puppets, and it is because of these central banks that gold is increasing. They are now predicting that the price of gold will reach between $5,000 and $10,000. 30K, I said. Alright, since the world's central banks currently have the most gold this century, they are not lying. Alright, then, ask yourself why. Correct. Why is it the case? You see how it was flat from 2000 to 2025. It made numerous attempts to break out, but it only began to do so in the last few years, and this thing is most likely going to continue moving upward. The reason for this is the damn collapse. Do you recall when we discussed Jim Cramer here? Are you prepared for me to reveal everything about Jim Cramer right here? I've been saying this for the longest time. I take it that Jim Cramer is contraindicated. He is the idiot, really. I am certain that he will deceive everyone. He will, but not me, not you and me, but everyone else. He will consistently be wrong, right, wrong, right. From now until the collapse, which is the reason. His track record will be essentially extremely incorrect, either in terms of right or improper attributes. However, as Jim Cramer would say, I always brought up the theory just prior to the collapse. The breakdown will show up very soon. It will occur, but no one will pay attention. When no one pays attention, the collapse happens. That's what I believe, huh? Jim Cramer was given the responsibility of conditioning the populace, just like these elites are doing to him. Isn't that right? Mainstream news about his making all the incorrect calls, and that when he says it will collapse, no one will listen because he has made all the wrong calls before. Why now then? That's right. Jim Cramer was just exposed by us. Alright. It's as simple as 1, 2. Thus central banks possess gold, because they will use this asset to achieve things they never would have imagined. But it's not just gold, due to the fact that spot silver is more than $53. What is the current state of silver? Correct. 53 people. It broke out, I told you. Oh my god, won't it even cool down? Guys, it might not even cool down because when gold did appear like this, it was exactly here. It never cooled down. It never did. However, when it initially appeared, it did cool off somewhat there, and it began to surge wildly. It's more volatile for silver. Therefore, even if we might not be able to see it, I think it should calm down, because it's getting out of control. However, once more, this is the most bizarre warning, and it is a sign that things will collapse before the phoenix rises. Are you all aware of what's going on here? Analysts predict that $100 silver might quadruple from its previous highs. These precious metals are set to soar to astronomical heights, according to the guys who play the finatrix, because the economy is on the verge of collapse. Do you get it now? The moment when XRP flips the switch and becomes king is quite close. These are the indicators that no one would be interested in listening to. Have you started to panic? Silver shorts. Silver lease costs are skyrocketing, creating a historic physical strain. Therefore, everyone is essentially in a rush to purchase as much gold and silver as they can at this time. In addition, a great deal of liquidity has developed on silver. You've seen what happened to gold when there was a lot of liquidity. All of the liquidity is here. Let me demonstrate for you all. There is a plenty of liquidity. As soon as it started, a huge amount of liquidity was created there, and it never stopped. Correct, because depending on the direction, liquidity offers you more fuel to move up or lower. Silver has experienced the same thing, but it's much more bizarre because it has consolidated under these highs for 40 or 45 years. How much liquidity is there up here? Then, maybe it won't even cool off. I'm serious. It serves as a warning that a black zone is approaching, most likely around November. According to Peter Schiff, silver will soon surpass $53 and gold will soon surpass $4,150. Prepare yourself for the most memorable short squeeze in silver history. But the global rug pull on an AC Stoller and the treasury market will take center stage. There will be a financial hurricane in the near future. Hiding in plain sight is what you term it. What drives gold, and why should investors hold it? It's what you call events X, or what I call events X, in unknown occurrences that no one's X has experienced, but we're all going to see it when a moment is right, and we're getting close to that time. That is the primary query, along with the reason behind the parabolic rise of gold and silver. Thus it serves as a warning to the economy, because it's a safety hedge. Billionaires are turning their fortunes into it. You believe that these millionaires will purchase every coin during the collapse? No, they will invest in gold since it has a history of enduring for literally centuries. Why should investors own gold, and what motivates it? Future returns are called into question by gold's quick rise to new record highs. Investors should inquire as to whether gold may outperform bonds, stocks, or both. When it comes to gold ownership, and it has, this incidentally would never occur. These price fluctuations of gold, silver and other precious metals are extremely uncommon when they do occur. This is occurring because someone is in a frenzy to acquire as much gold and silver as they can. Alright, someone is in